having the right coach is very important. An egoistic coach can kill the spirit inside you, can destroy it, can nuke it forever. You will live in fear because of your coach. Find a coach who allows you to grow, who understands the meaning of sparring. What a sparring is, mild sparring, hard sparring, what a fight simulation is, what a fight is, and what a malintent to harm someone is. So how can we practice martial arts in different ways? Let's start from the first. Two kinds of sparring. First is mild sparring. Mild sparring can happen between anyone. Between a white belt and a black belt, between a yellow belt and a purple belt, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Between two coaches, it is just you're practicing how to apply your learned knowledge, your previously learned knowledge. Figure out where you can apply, where you cannot, why you cannot apply it, and what are the counters that the opponent is using during that application phase, and how many times you can apply it in a realistic way. So soft sparring, first of all, number one rule, which is basically applicable to every good sparring and fighting match. So number one rule, you do not have any malintent to harm your opponent. Sparring, number one rule, there is no malintent to harm your opponent. Number two, during mild sparring, there is no winning or losing. It is just exchange of knowledge between two people. That's it. It is an exchange of knowledge between two people. Both are learning from it and both are growing as fighters. Then comes the hard sparring. What is hard sparring? Hard sparring is basically for fighters who are planning to fight in a ring, and you apply some amount of pain, and you don't harm the joints. Again, number one, you don't have the malintent to harm the fighter. Number one. So you don't harm the joints, you don't concuss the person. Take care of your partner, your sparring partner. Others will hesitate to be your sparring partner just because you have broken one of your sparring partner. Others will try not to spar with you, and hence your knowledge will not grow from there. People will be fearful. Fearful in the sense people will avoid getting injured. They don't want to get injured because they want to fight in a ring. If you break your machinery during hard sparring, you won't be able to fight in the ring. That's it. So you don't harm your partner. Number two, you apply very little amount of pain so that the other person knows what a real fight is, or what an actual fight will be. If the person is getting pain in a hard sparring match, your job is to make the opponent habitual of that pain. So because in a real fight, the pain will be more intense. So in a hard sparring match, you do not hurt the joints, you do not hurt your partner, your sparring partner, and you apply very limited amount of pain. That's it. You do not concuss the person. Then comes the fight simulation. So fight simulation do have a win and a lose scenario because it is basically a simulation of a fight. Again, you do not hurt the joints of your opponent and you do not concuss your opponent, because your opponent or you might have to go and fight in the ring. If you give a concussion here, then 6 weeks of rest. Fight simulations only happen 4 or 3 days before the original fight, because there is a high risk of getting injured in a fight simulation. But you take care of your opponent or your partner as much as you can. Your coach might put an element of win and lose in it, but again, you only proving yourself as a good fighter only by winning. No malintent to harm your opponent, no matter what. I have seen many coaches in fact losing their temper while hard sparring with their students, and because it hurt their ego, how dare his kick touch my face, so now I'm gonna pound my student to prove the point to the rest of the people that I'm untouchable. That's your insecurity. You're not untouchable no matter what. How good are you? Let your student take that hit on you. Let his confidence rise a little. You can defend and show him the counter, but you don't take it on your ego and harm your student and thereby permanently destroying the confidence of your student. Your student will never be able to rise if the coach is egoistic, and out of ego it beats the hell out of the student. Your student will never achieve that level that it can. So finding a right coach is very important. Now the fight itself. Again, everything is allowed. Obviously, people get injured, severely injured, But the idea, the intent is not to harm the fighter, but the intent is to win the fight. Let me give you an example. If you try to, let's say there is a match going on, MMA match going on, and your idea is to break the opponent's leg or break an arm, whatever, you want to break the opponent. But your opponent is fighting to win the match. So what is happening? You keep on trying to break his leg, you keep on grappling, you keep on taking the hits on your face, and ultimately, let's say you were not successful in breaking the limb of your opponent. Now what happens is, judges score you, and they find that you have taken more hits. Obviously, it looks like that because your idea was to hurt the person, to hurt the fighter, but your opponent idea was to win the fight. Hence, he won the fight according to the judges, and he will win the fight. So malintent of hurting a fighter backfires. Okay, malintent of hurting your opponent backfires most of the times, because you are not using your brain, you're not applying your knowledge, you're not using your head. You have this malintent to harm the fighter. Malintent is for gangsters. That's why the gangster keeps on killing their kids. The war keeps on going from generations to generations. No, never have a malintent to harm your opponent, and never underestimate a power of a stupid person. Understand that. Don't have a malintent against anyone. You don't know what fucked up mentality one person is holding. Never mess with people. You can beat that person in that juncture, but it can always fire back. Never have a malintent to harm another person, no matter what. This is the difference. Mild sparring, people learn. You grow from mild sparring. There is no hurting involved. A very little by mistake, but no hurting whatsoever. No malintent to harm your opponent, no hurting the joints, no concussions, nothing. Just applied form of learning where you grow. Both of the opponents, both of the partners, sparring partners, grow in terms of knowledge in fighting. Hard sparring means mild sparring with pain, a little amount of pain. Not on the joints, no malintent to harm the person. Neck joint, elbow joint, knee joints, ankle joints, wrist joints. No harming the joints. Only you're testing how much a person can perform under the pressure of pain. How much a person can perform. You're practicing that. You're practicing to endure the pain and keep on fighting. Fight simulations, only 4 or 5 days, 3 or 4 days before the fight, depending upon the coach. And again, no malintent to hurt any fighter whatsoever, because if the fighter got concussed or hurt, the fighter cannot fight in the ring. The fight itself, no malintent to harm the fighter. Eventually you have to harm your opponent, but the point is you don't have that intent. The intent is to win the fight, to win the match, so that you don't get busy in killing or hurting the fighter. Instead, you're focused on winning the match so that you can win the belt. You can prove the point that you're a better fighter. You have brain. You're just not a meathead trying to hit someone and inflict pain. So, malintent to hurt the fighter is for gangsters and thugs. That's what differentiates us martial artists from thugs and gangsters. We don't have that malintent. Even for thugs, we don't have that malintent. Even if I get robbed or somebody tries to stab me, my idea is not to take the knife and stab him back. My idea is to either take the knife and stab him in self-defense so that I can run away, but not to stab him back and kill him. Until I kill him, then I will run. No, my idea is to save myself from the knife and run away. So in that process, I might have to take the knife back, have to stab him. There is no option. Again, the priority is to save yourself, not to kill the person. Difference. I hope this will teach all the coaches and all the students a lot. Having the right coach is very important. An egoistic coach can kill the spirit inside you, can destroy it, can nuke it forever. You will live in fear because of your coach. Find a coach who allows you to grow, who understands the meaning of sparring. What a sparring is, mild sparring, hard sparring, what a fight simulation is, what a fight is, and what a malintent to harm someone is.